it's Julie Ziemelis, 365 Hawaii, and I am here with Amber Haley, and we're both real broker, real estate agents, and we are coming to you guys after a major hurricane hit East Hawaii, not so much in West Hawaii. So we're going to go over the statistics and the market update for your September 2024 update, and then also we're going to be talking a little bit about some real estate issues that might be affecting you as well, and the mortgage rates. So how about if we start with Amber giving us an idea of what's happening in East Hawaii?
Okay, so we are going to talk about a couple of the main districts where most of the real estate sales are in East Hawaii, and we're going to be talking about specifically single family homes. Because that is what we do the most of. We don't have a whole lot of condo sales. There is a lot of vacant land at a lot of different price points in East Hawaii. But what most of you I know want to know about is single family homes. So we're going to talk about the home sale stats of the most recent month and kind of compare that to what we've been looking at. So we're going to look at Hilo and we're going to look at the Puna district. So let's see. Let's start with South Hilo. So for the month of August, which is the last full month of sales that we had, the median sales price was $590,000. Now, if we look back a year, when we were doing this a year ago in August of 2023, it was actually $585,000. So it's almost, it's very, very similar for all the homes that sold same time of year, single family homes in the Hilo district at that $590, $585 price point. So that's kind of, interesting. Hilo is that it was a higher price point than the month that we had before. There's not as many homes that sell in Hilo, not as many homes on the market as the Puna district. Mm-hmm. So depending on where you're looking at, what your budget is, a lot of people who even do want to live in Hilo will move to one of my favorite places on the island. Maybe not one of your favorite places. You live kind of far from there. But one of my favorite places, the Puna district.
Okay.
So in Puna, we have, in general, cheaper prices. And some of the reason is because of the riskier lava zones. More affordable. I like that. More affordable prices.
Approachable.
That's the pricing. Yes, approachable. Okay, so we'll talk about the median sales price for August of this year in the Puna district. It was $396,000. Now that is more, that is higher than where we were at a year ago for all the sales in August, where it was $350,000. Okay. And that is kind of an interesting stat to pull out, because I will say, in general, in Puna, which is where I work even more than the Hilo district. So that's where I see the most amount of buyers specifically, which is probably what most of you guys are. In Puna, a lot of homes are sitting for a long time on the market. So I'm going to pull up like one of the most popular neighborhoods right now to give you all an idea of
what the heck is going on.
What most of the prices are in Puna right now, and like what the days on market look like and all of that. So Hawaiian Paradise Park is kind of one of the neighborhoods we talk about a lot, as well as like Orchid Land Estates and Aina Loa. Mm-hmm. And the reason those are so popular and the YouTube videos that we've made are so popular on them is because they are in Lava Zone 3. So when we look, and that is the big one, because we've been talking about how people are having trouble with insurance.
Yes.
For different reasons. Lava Zone 3 is where you're not going to run into problems with insurance and financing due to lava hazard.
I thought you were going to say you're not going to run into problems with Kilauea exploding in your neighborhood.
I would never say that, Julie. I would never say that.
There's a less likely chance of that actually occurring in Lava Zone 3. Although I did just meet a woman that bought a home in Leilani Estates.
Yes.
And she figures she's taking her chances because lightning doesn't hit twice, with the...
That's not a thing.
Just for you guys might not know, the last major eruption we had in 2018 actually centered through Leilani Estates.
Yes, that is a neighborhood. That is the name of a neighborhood that people have lived in for decades. It's actually a beautiful neighborhood, and when I was looking to buy my first house in Hawaii, I fell in love with the house there, but I did not buy it because it is located on the rift zone of an active volcano. So yes, that can run into problems. If anybody tells you any facts like that about the volcano. It's just not true because we don't know, and it will go off.
We don't know. It's okay. Get this, because even if you're in lava zone 3, you could have a problem with a volcanic eruption.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah. Even like here in Kona, we're lava zone. I think 4. I think because Hualalai is not.
Your home is lava zone 4.
I think so because Hualalai is still not extinct. If Hualalai went off, then we would have Kona having some issues, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then we've learned from the Mauna Loa eruption that South Kona is part of lava zone 2.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Lava zone 2.
Yeah. So if Mauna Loa went like this, they could go right into South Kona. So
yeah. So you know what? It's exciting here on the Big Island. You're in an active lava zone no matter where you live. But
no, Kahala.
But it's still a lava zone.
Yeah, it's a lava zone, but it's not an active lava zone.
Yes,
there's. Welcome to living on an island.
Okay, so Lava Zone 3, the neighborhood where there are the most homes for sale. So say that you are a buyer right now, maybe in the like $400,000 to $700,000 range, and you definitely know you want a single family home. You want to live on the Big Island. You want to be close to Hilo or like kind of a more city. We don't have big cities here. Town. Hawaiian Paradise Park is a place that I would probably discuss with you if we were having a buyer consultation. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit more stats about Hawaiian Paradise Park this month. Right now, there are 74 active single-family homes for sale in that one subdivision.
Right. But it's a big subdivision.
It's basically a town, but it's not. Yeah. It's a subdivision. It's one of the biggest subdivisions in the entire country with private roads. And 74 active listings. So that's kind of good because for a lot of months we had less than that. So we are seeing homes come on the market. They are sitting longer days on the market. Just to give you guys an idea of the wide range of prices that we have in East Hawaii. The lowest price property is $175,000 in Hawaiian Paradise Park in Lava Zone 3 in East Hawaii right now. It is technically unpermitted, so it's like a 0-bedroom home. You're basically going to need all cash, and it's essentially like a land purchase, but it does have structures on it. And then the most expensive home on the market right now in Hawaiian Paradise Park is $1.63 million.
Wow. There you go.
So yeah, so everything in between, but if you want like a 3 to 4 bedroom single family home, depending on like how new the home is and how much work it needs and all of that, a lot of the buyers at that price point are in the $400,000 to $700,000 range. Yep. And we are seeing homes sit very commonly over 3 months right now. Mm-hmm. That is.
How much is that one?
So Julie just pointed to my screen. She pointed at this brand new construction on 13th Avenue in Hawaiian Paradise Park, and it is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,637 square foot on 1 acre for $648,000. Okay. And it is been on the market for 10 days.
Oh.
So
brand new.
Yep. So brand new. And the thing is that I try and remind people when they are like looking at negotiating or strategizing on what kind of offer they should make. So if you looked at a home like that, now there are a lot of homes in Hawaiian Paradise Park that are 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, about 1,600 square feet, brand new construction. And you will see their prices are kind of all over the place. But I will tell you, because I work with a lot of buyers, in addition to sellers, like those buyers are looking at kind of all of those homes.
Yeah.
So if you want to look and kind of compare on the prices, but also the days on market that is a good strategy. If something's been sitting on the market a long time, now keep in mind in the market we're in right now, stuff is sitting on the market a long time in East Hawaii. But if things are sitting, the longer it sits, the more negotiating power that you have.
Right. Yeah. So some of those are on the market for 100 days, right?
Oh, yeah. So the one, there's one I'm looking at right now on my screen that you guys can't see, but I'll describe it to you. It is in Hawaiian Paradise Park on 23rd Avenue. It is a 2-story home. It built in 2019, 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and it's been on the market 162 days.
Wow. Well, has it had a price reduction yet?
It probably has, actually.
Yeah. And just so you guys know, too, our high season in Hawaii to buy homes is usually, well, maybe more so on West Hawaii than it is in East Hawaii, but it's usually January, February, March. The lowest time to sell a house is August and September.
Yeah.
Just people are on vacation elsewhere, not on the island, and also just not really here. And so I think also we've been talking about the fact that people are expecting a interest rate drop, and they're waiting for the election.
Yeah, it's a weird year for real estate. Election years, and then,
Crazy interest experiences.
Yeah, there's been a lot in the news, so people are like confused a little bit on maybe how working with a real estate agent works. So it is an interesting year. It is kind of just a slower time of year because a lot of people have, wanted to already be in their house by now because school's already started here.
Yeah.
And then, there are going to be buyers out there still right now that are trying to get into a place before the end of the year. And if that is you, we got to get
Now's
going.
the time.
We got to get going.
When I start getting the phone calls ringing, it's usually like around early October because the chill has already shown up in people's hometowns, and they go like this: "Not another winter! I can't take it." And then they move to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And if you can get a house, a brand new house, for $500,000, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, sometimes some of those are, right? And you can sit in a tropical wonderland, it might be something to consider.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a great time to be a buyer in East Hawaii when it's slower and there's a lot of options for you on the market. And I'm telling you because I talk every single day to other agents, and if I'm working with a buyer, I'm talking to the listing agent, and they are saying things to me like, just bring us an offer. What do they want? We'll work with them. So they want to work with you, and call Julie or I. We can talk about all the different strategies that you can use. But it's slow.
It's I went to a condo recently too, and the person, the listing agent, was like this, like that face they give you. Just bring an offer. Whatever you want to do, just bring something.
Bring anything.
Yeah. We're just across the whole island right now. We're having kind of a lull. So
and usually when I'm representing sellers, and every situation is so different, so this is a generalization, but I don't usually like to use terms like motivated seller because there are studies that say like if you advertise a property that way, they're gonna get like 10% less for it. And I might have kind of made that up.
Well,
but
at
that's
least
like
they
some
sold it.
stat like that. Or it's saying too much, but I'm telling you, even the sellers that I'm working for right now are like, tell them we're motivated. Did you tell them we'll fix anything they want? And I'm like, okay, like don't shout. Okay, yeah.
Just bring a price.
So they just want an offer. And the thing is, if you're new to buying real estate, and I can tell you how it works specifically in my East Hawaii market, and it works this way over here too, but a lot of times you will bring an offer and there will be a lot of back and forth and negotiation. They might not, they might counter offer you, and sometimes you might counter offer their counter offer, and then back and forth.
Can you find a price that you can? And what I've also learned from being in real estate is that I used to think it was all about the price. It's not.
Yeah.
It's about other things. The furniture, the solar panel lease, or, all the different things where you can say, okay, back and forth, who's going to pay for HOA fees, back assessments, whatever. So that way you finally get to a point where both sides at least feel like they're ready to move forward with the deal, right?
Yeah. And one of the things that I see a lot in East Hawaii, you're talking about things that are important besides just price. One thing that can be important if you do get into a competitive situation on a certain property for some reason that a lot of times the seller wants to know, or the seller's agent, is if it's like a sight unseen or not. Because we do work in a market, and specifically like in East Hawaii, where people are maybe wanting to relocate, and they're browsing online and they see like how affordable it is. So there's a lot of people who call up an agent and might like even, want to drop down some cash on a house that's $500,000, which to them and maybe in their local market back home, that's not cheap, that much. Yeah. So they're like willing to kind of do it sight unseen. So we do see a lot of sight unseens. Now that for some sellers, or if, two offers are pretty much the same, they might go with the offer where the buyers have actually seen it in person.
Yeah. In fact, we are in the middle of 2 transactions where the buyers have not stepped foot in the house.
Yeah.
And the seller's agent...
2 transactions right now.
Right now, yeah. And that's here in West Hawaii. And the seller's agent definitely asking all the questions. Why aren't they going to come? What's it going to take? Are they... If it's between this and this, will your buyer please fly in? So one of our buyers is actually flying in, because that was the thing. They said, we don't want to have to worry about you not deciding you like this house, and we don't want to put it back on the market in a slow market. So actually showing up is, a good thing sometimes. Also, I think in East Hawaii too, I think all over the island actually, because people think there's a certain way of how things are here, and they're not. I think it's important to actually step into a house and get a feeling for the neighborhood and kind of get a feeling for the house and stuff. But, let's say that you had, let's just say you had a $200,000 unpermitted house, and somebody just said, you know what, I'm just gonna throw some cash at it and get out of my Alaska house. People do that too.
People do it.
Yeah.
I've closed quite a few transactions where not only have they not seen the house, they've never been to this island.
Yeah.
Until they bought the house.
Well, you know, it's warmer than where I am right now. So
yeah. So I mean, it's definitely not something that we as real estate agents would ever recommend. But if it is a situation that you are in, it is possible to do, and we can kind of help guide you through that. But that is really smart if you are able to make it out to you know, show the seller that you are very serious and that you're not going to back out during the home inspection when you realize, like, oh wait, no, I don't actually want this house, I didn't look at it.
right So but the thing is, have you gotten more buyers asking questions about moving here at all? I mean, what were your feelings going on out there right now?
I am getting a lot of buyers, but also the thing that surprised me this fall, because I probably just personally because I don't like actively seek them out as much, as I'm getting a lot of sellers on their own wanting to sell right now.
Okay.
That is what is surprising me the most about what I'm personally seeing. But you know what, I think in East Hawaii, like there's always people buying. It's just a busy market, and it's, you know, kind of one of the only affordable ones left in the state. So East Hawaii agents, we usually, you know, we do always see buyers. It's just a matter of like, well, how many and how fast are things selling? And it is a little bit slower right now, but definitely
people buy. And also, it seems there's a lot of new construction.
Yeah, so if you are looking for a new construction house, and I would be interested in, I mean, this would be a Lance thing to ask. If you guys watch Lance's shows, he's much better at statistics than I am, and figuring out how to find them. But I'd be interested in like what the data is on like how much new construction in East Hawaii versus here.
Oh, good Lord.
Over
I'll
the
tell you.
years.
I'll tell you, 100%.
It's a lot more, but I'm like, I want to know kind of like exactly how much.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for a brand new construction, single family home, and you kind of like more rural living, but still being within like 30 minutes of a town or 15 minutes of, you know, some smaller towns, there's a lot of opportunities, especially in the Puna district.
Yeah.
There
In
is
fact,
some in Hilo, but
a $500,000 house in Kona, if there was ever one, is going to be termite-ridden, tear-down disaster, where, like you said, you get a brand new house over on your side. In fact, over in West Hawaii, I have not seen much below. I think that the least expensive house right now that I've seen is maybe 800, maybe. And as soon as you say anything that looks like new build, you're at 1.4 million at least.
At least, yeah.
So again, I've seen some of those houses. In fact, Eric and I sold them to our friends, and to walk in to fresh and new flooring, new lighting, new everything, yay!
And I will say there are some builders I've really enjoyed doing deals with them or touring their properties. But as somebody who really appreciates in the design and aesthetics, you know, and I see a lot of just plain builder grade homes or like older homes, there are some builders in East Hawaii that have some really, really good taste and some really nice style that I'm not used to seeing on the island. So that's something I can definitely work with people on. If you want builder that's kind of got, you know, you kind of have like the builder that builds kind of like the builder grade standard homes, and then there's some that put some really nice touches on it. I'm seeing a lot of like trends of like cool accent walls and just like unique things they're building out of like wood on the walls, and just like really nice homes. And whenever I like put them on my social media or snap pictures, if I have time throughout the day, people are so surprised how nice some of these houses look and feel on the inside. And then when I say, oh, this is, you know, $500,000, they're like, what? So there is some nice, it's not just that like there's some nicer, really, really custom feeling properties that are affordable too.
Yeah. In fact, I've had a couple people who are asking questions in the group about buying land and building. Have you heard anything about them moving the permitting process a little faster now? Because we used to like laugh about that about 2 years ago and say it was never going to happen.
Yes, as far as buying and building.
Yeah.
So I get told different things because I do like kind of ask whenever I'm around somebody at the county or just somebody who like works with them, like, oh, what's the time right now? And I feel like I often get told like, oh, it takes like only a couple months to get through. I don't think that's like always true though. So I don't know for sure how quickly things are going through the county. I do know the county does have like a focus on that. right now. So that is like a goal to make things not only like more permanent, I mean, just making sure things have permits, but to get through that quicker. But there are other factors besides just the county permits that can be really challenging all over the islands, but I will say especially in East Hawaii. So if you are relocating here and you don't have a lot of experience with, you know, building from scratch, and you especially don't have any experience in Hawaii, and you're thinking it's going to be like the same process as it might be where you live right now, like that's probably not true, because we do have you know, limited vendors and workers, and you know, people might be a little bit on island time sometimes, and can be more, the cost of something could go up a lot more than you were thinking. Like the cost of like fencing in East Hawaii has gone up a crazy amount, like crazy quotes I'm seeing my clients getting, just like all these little things that add up, and then time is money. So it can be very difficult for people. So if it's not a task you're really up for, most people do find it's a lot easier to
buy something.
Yeah.
I know why it's going up for the fencing, because all those houses are being built on open land. They scrape the land, and then someone says like, oh great, now I gotta put a fence up, right?
Yeah.
And guess what happened to our friends? They basically, you can't, it's so expensive to fence a 1 acre lot.
So expensive.
So I think that they did like half their acre of it.
Yes.
And then they bought the rock wall in the front of the property too, which was a fortune.
Yeah,
and
those
so,
are gotten very expensive.
Very expensive. So everyone's starting to do that. So all of a sudden, all those people who are doing rock walls and fencing, I think like, well, look at, I've got 100 people who need the stuff. Prices go up.
The prices have gone up. I know like a few years ago that I heard somebody got a quote, and it was the first time I'd heard such a large number, and it was like $60,000 for their property in HPP, and like the last crazy quote I heard was $100,000.
Oh.
Something like that, just to fence, like nice fencing. There are more affordable options, but
the black fencing is expensive.
The black fencing is expensive. Quality lava rock wall is expensive. So keep that in mind too. That's another thing, especially in East Hawaii, with my buyers in the type of market that we've been talking about. There are new construction homes. That some will have that fencing. Some will have a gate and a wall in the front. Some will have a driveway. Some will have a carport, and some will not. Mm-hmm. Some will have the lot like fully cleared, and like any, you know, invasive trees that could be, you know, dangerous to your home, like an albizia tree right above it, they've been totally cleared, and some haven't. And those little things can really, really add up. Mm-hmm. So it's good to keep that in mind as you're like taking notes and touring homes, or just looking online. Okay, if I bought this house, like I would need to add a driveway, or I need to compromise and not have one, or do cinder, or I need this. And when you start adding all that up, you know, maybe the house that's at a higher price point might have been a better option for you.
Yep. And by the time you get a construction guy out there to build you a driveway, but also the trees.
Yeah.
Now, I have not personally hired an arborist, but I've heard like I'd love to get rid of that tree over there.
Oh, I have some good arborists.
Okay, I have that's like I heard that's a $5,000 or $6,000 experience.
I mean, we should all be arborists.
I know they make a lot of money.
They do. It is a dangerous job, so I see why. But you definitely, yes, tree trimming here is like everybody needs it. In some places, it's truly a matter of safety, and it's not cheap.
No, it's not cheap.
And you can't like DIY it all.
No, well, you could. It might fall on you. Or your house.
Yeah.
But like, let's say you have an albizia. Now, you guys, this is one that looks like something out of Africa. It's just like
really pretty tree.
Beautiful, but it has shallow root systems.
Yeah.
And so when those big the winds come in, like Hurricane Hone, who just came through, there was downed trees.
Yes. So in East Hawaii, if you don't live there right now, we tend to get like the worst of the storms, when you say, on our side of the island.
All the east side facing ones usually get it worse than all the west side facing ones. But this storm specifically hit South Hawaii, and it came through East Hawaii, where it basically like passed the rest of the island chain up.
Yeah.
But man, it hit the bottom part of our island hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Down. I'm glad I wasn't that far down south, but in the east side where I was at, and so I think Hilo, but definitely Puna, was getting like a lot of wind and rain. But sometimes these hurricanes, even if they don't make landfall or they get downgraded to a tropical storm, it'll still like dump and rain and flood, you know. But we have a lot of property that's remote, a lot of property that has these like albizia trees around it, so they'll go down, the power lines will go down. So there were power outages, there was internet outages, And that is something to keep. That's something to keep.
That
That's part of
happens on
life.
this island
That's
here.
part of
It's
life in
just,
East
you know.
Hawaii. I did like warn a lot of people. A lot of people like weren't able to get a hold of me over the weekend. I was like, there's, you know, it's like a hurricane here. Good idea to invest in a generator in East Hawaii.
Generators, yes.
It's not like something
in your,
to be fearful
Put that
of,
in
but-
your moving list to get that because they're expensive on this island too.
Yes, yeah. So, for example, I live in Puna, and when I lose power, I also don't have good enough cell reception at my house, so I'm like really cut off. And there's a lot of properties like that too.
Yeah,
So like the weather, one little thing can like really put us out of business.
Yeah. So that's another thing too, that if you're looking to try and do some work from home on any of these houses, like Amber can tell you because she's been in that and she drives around with her phone, she'll tell you where the dead spots are. But that is a very important part of understanding what's capable. You know, I mean, even like down here in Pualani Estates, as you're driving through there, there's a dead spot right there. So knowing those kind of will tell people, you know, how important is a solid Wi-Fi to you, and you might not want to pick this part. You might want to do that one instead. Yeah. But okay, so I do this, you guys. I got off on 18 different subjects. Did you finish your statistics on this one?
Okay, we did. So I don't have specific days on market because those stats haven't come out for all of the sales that closed in October. But we can do so probably like our average, I would say probably most of the people who like watch this show are probably like the $400,000 to $700,000 range in HPP. So like I said, there's a good amount of inventory for you all right now, and things are sitting on the market still. So let's see. So I just am looking at like kind of a more average property and seeing what they're saying, pulling the different stats for like days on market and stuff. And yeah, I mean they are, let me see if it'll give me like an average. They are, I'm going to say like it's probably, and I'll say it when we do our third Thursday because I will have all of the stats for everything that did close. But I would say we are looking at, over 90 days on market still for like HPP area. Yeah. So,
well, you know what? It'll be interesting. Speaking of trends, when we do the November update to see if it's true that people got through the September slump, found the interest rates to be more favorable, and especially as we're heading towards the end of the year, they should be dropping even further, and that maybe you'll see more of a pickup in terms of like what's going to happen with those houses off the market. Because the Fed did what it wanted to do. It slowed the market down. You know, and then we're getting a hold of the inflation, and now they're saying, well, maybe it's time to like lower those rates, and I think we're just in that moment of like, eat. Right? That they basically wanted us to be in. And it sounds like the sellers are not dumping their houses, right? So if the houses were, if a seller said, you know, oh my gosh, I can't get my house off the market, we'd see this like all of a sudden, and then the prices would start to fall faster. Yeah. And they're not, right? Yeah. So sellers are hanging on.
What we're not seeing is a major drop in prices at all. We're just seeing a slowdown, just based on, you know, even the little snapshot of data that we, you know, just talked about with the median prices. It's not like it's like
I think people keep saying, when's the crash going to happen? And we still have people who want to live here. Yeah. And we have sellers that bought at a time when their interest rates are really low, and they don't want to just dump their house.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. So, but here's the positives, I think, for anybody who's buying right now, just to like sum it up, is we are shifting toward, I feel like things are really in favor for my buyers in almost every situation right now. So if you can get pre-approved and you can afford that house, sellers are making concessions. And if you are confused about stuff you've seen in the news about how you work with a buyer's agent now, Julie and I were chatting about it before this update, and we haven't really seen a lot of changes other than, you know, there's certain like contracts, but we'd be happy to explain that to you. But what's great too is, as we're kind of shifting into like maybe this new way of how real estate commissions get paid and the cost of buying a house or selling a house for all of you guys, I think at least in my market on the east side, we're shifting into that kind of new territory where it's like in favor of buyers. And I know everybody that I've talked to who's either a seller or representing a seller, sellers are really willing to work with offers where buyers, agents, you know, and brokerages commission get paid too. So I am not seeing anything that's like really hurting buyers because of that, or really changing like too many things like at the end of the day.
Because again, if you guys were unaware, the story was that sellers are no longer, and I don't want to use the word required because you're never required to do anything, it's all negotiable, but having them pay for the buyer's commission, now it's kind of like, you know, voluntary, and what I'm seeing, and I think this is what we knew was going to happen, that fee has always been about marketing their house. It's to pay the agent to bring in somebody to help them make the deal. And if you don't pay somebody to bring the deal in, then the deal doesn't happen. So I see that people are still saying, you know what, it's an important thing to sell this house is to go out there and make this competitive so we have more buyers coming in to see what we're doing, and then they sell the house. So I'm excited that a lot of agents were thinking that the world was going to end, and that it didn't. And we keep moving forward. And the good thing, again, you guys, with signing a buyer's representation agreement is the fact that your buyer's agent, I think, always wants to work the best they can for you. But knowing that you basically have this agreement where you're not going to go off and play and have 3 other agents that you're working under that they don't know that you're doing it. But now it's like we know that you're working with us. Right, and it's a nice way of saying, you know what, I'm working with you, you're working with me. Let's go out there and make this happen. So.
Yeah, I think it will keep things very clear for people, and I think that the buyers can negotiate that into the deal, and it's going to work out for everybody. It does. You do want to understand it and read everything your agent gives you, so you understand how the commission works, and also how that can affect potentially your closing costs. And I've been talking to a lot of lenders about it because a lot of people were wondering, can you roll that into your loan? And, but never fear. It kind of seems like a lot of sellers are willing to negotiate that into the offer. So.
Yes, because that's where we're at this market right now.
Yeah.
Because I had Amber actually provide this update so early in the month. Just so you guys know, this is how this happens. It's that sometimes when you get it before the 5th of the month and the 6th, not everyone has put their information in. That's why it's hard to get the days on market. But Amber will be back in 2 weeks as part of our overall island update, and we'll have Joe Egan giving the mortgage update at that point. And at that point, I think the Fed will have met. And lower the interest rate. So we're going to see if they're aggressive and they bring it down more than like a 1/4 of a point, which I think will start spurring that buyer's thing that we keep talking about. And then also, if you need to get a hold of Amber, we haven't had a hurricane lately. I think your Wi-Fi's working now.
My phone died.
Your phone died.
But no, you can get a hold of me.
Yeah, and that way she can tell you what's on the market and best strategies for going the extra mile to make sure you get a house. Also, we have an East Hawaii buyer's guide that we can give to you guys for free. So if you reach out to either Amber and I can email that to you, and that way you guys can have information about how to get a hold of different service providers, get stuff switched over when you move here, different things that you guys can do when it's time to move, like getting your car over here, all that good stuff. So I do think that I've been getting more interest of people thinking that maybe moving to this island is a good idea. So we're updating those buyer's guides to make it as easy as possible for you guys to make that move if you decide to do it. It's not for everybody, but if you decide to do it, someone's gonna sell you a house, and we're also gonna make sure that you're successful when you get here. And we've got our Hilo Newbies group, and also our friends is also creating a women's business group.
Yes.
And so that way, it's any way to connect people so that they can do business or not be lonely and have some fun is always a good day, right? Yeah. So we do. So we will see you guys in 2 weeks. For the island-wide, or tune in next month. And so that's what I was going to tell you about next month, which is October. I will be gone the first week of the month, so let's do on the second Wednesday. And that way you'll have all your statistics and the days on market.
Perfect.
And everything else. So you guys tune in then. And for the people over on Facebook land, if you guys have questions, please drop them in the comments, and we'll get back to you live through there. And also people on YouTube land, if you want to be people who are getting us live, and be on the Facebook land, join our Ohana. Go to 365hawaiiliving.com. Join the Ohana, and that way it gives us opportunities to reach you, and you get newsletters and resource guides and all the good stuff. So with that, we say
aloha.